Mazda 6, the type of car that's losing the SUV war. In this video though, I'll show you why it should really be winning.
Mazdas have pleasantly surprised me in the recent years because, well, they've updated most of the range with this lovely aggressive new grille. I love this. If you watched my CX-5 video back then, I was really surprised by how good it looks. Now this new Mazda 6 now comes in the top of the line equipment package with all LED front and back, so everything is in LED technology. I love that. Now Mazda 6s were always nice to drive and pleasant, but they were a little bit boring inside. Until now.
Yes, the 6 has decided to say goodbye to boring lights. Even the base model now sports LEDs front and back. Even an active radar cruise control found its way to the base model, while the 19-inch alloys are part of the higher equipment packages. The rear is now more aggressive with two giant exhausts, while the new LEDs look like they're a jet afterburner.
Sitting in the Mazda 6 is now a completely different experience. No longer is it a bit boring, but it is very luxurious. I've got soft leather surfaces on many places, including the lovely seats. I've got this really lovely soft, like velvet material here on the dashboard, on the doors and the back. It's really nice to the touch. I've got these nice looking wooden inserts and a chrome line over here and on the doors. It's just a really, really nice place to be. Feels like a much more premium car. Like you should be paying twice the price for it. Now, because this is the test, I do have to be a little bit critical as well. This start-stop engine is perhaps a little bit oddly positioned, and the seats, while very comfortable, I'm in my driving position here, which is comfy, but this is as far down as the seat will go, and well, I'm almost touching the ceiling here. Now my cameraman, who is a bit taller, does actually change his hair or his hairstyle by just sitting in this car. And finally, the rear view camera is a bit low resolution. But that's about it, really.
The interior has definitely seen the biggest changes. At Mazda, they probably had a meeting and said they will go all or nothing on luxury, and then decided on all. I think you'll agree this was a good choice. The rear passengers will be comfortable as well.
Well, in the back, luxury continues. I've got the same soft materials and the wood and the chrome and leather everywhere, very comfortable seats, and this is my driving position at the front, and I've got plenty of space. I could actually almost fall asleep like this. It would be comfy. Now, here's a cool thing. Let me put this armrest down, which by the way feels really high quality. I've got my buttons for the heating of the seats. I've got my two cup holders, which I'm not sure if they'll be comfortable or not on longer drives. Anyway, this feels good. And over here I've got a little place for a phone and two USB slots with 2.1 amperes. So you can charge them just fine. Now I also have to give kudos to Mazda for actually making this lock at this angle, because a lot of Japanese, for some reason, like to have it lean down on the seat, like Toyota, for example. So then you end up being like this on the armrest. Very uncomfortable.
but Mazda decided to break the tradition and make a proper armrest. As for driving it, well, that's another sweet in the bag.
So to continue my analysis of the Mazda 6 and how it drives very nicely. Mazda 6s have driven very nicely before as well, but this is a couple of levels higher now. The sound deadening, the sound insulation is even better, like it was in the new CX-5. It's now much more quiet inside your little cocoon, so you can enjoy the drive more and you get less fatigued. And one of the biggest novelties now is the digital display in the center. Now the RPM instrument and the temperature of the coolant and my fuel level, those are still analog. But in the center, I've got this little digital display, which is mostly used for the speedometer and the trip computer. So if you want to change what items you have in the center, you can do so. But even so, there's only a few options here for you. And I feel like, especially after having driven the new Mercedes A-Class with its really phenomenal digital display and heads-up, I think Mazda could have done a lot more with this. They should have let you customize this a lot more. Now I understand that it wouldn't really be possible, or, well, I suppose you could put a RPM instrument in the center, even though you already have an analog, but of course you cannot really switch off the analog one then, so it would be kind of redundant, but it could have done more. But anyway, one more thing I have to mention is how it drives over damaged roads and potholes. We do have quite a few damaged roads here, and right now I'm driving over some deliberately on the, towards the right where there's most of the damage, and it's just, the car is just really nice. There's no problems going over the bumps. In fact, that was a joke yesterday, I think. I was driving towards some speed humps, and I joked to my colleague on the passenger seat, hey, I'm gonna go and take these speed humps at 50 kilometers per hour. And, jokingly, but he said, yeah, sure, go for it. So I did. They weren't huge, but still, the car just sort of floated past them. It was really nice.
I have to mention that even the base Mazda 6 includes a windscreen heads-up display.
The infotainment display now is a little bit larger, a little bit. However, at the same time, the system running it is still basically the same, which I suppose is not a bad thing because it works quite fine, but I don't know. Maybe it should have been new. Anyway, here at the bottom, we have the climate controls, which are very Audi in their looks now with these nice little buttons. And of course, not only do I have a heated steering wheel, a heated seat, I also have cooled seats. Yeah, look at that. I love cooled seats, especially when they're leather and when it's summer. From watching this video, you might get the idea that all I'm doing is complaining about various things, nitpicking every little thing in this car. And you might be a bit right. But trust me, when you start driving this car and enjoying the quietness and the refinement, you're going to forget all of those things. It's such a nice place to be. Fantastic car.
The base model costs just under 26,000 euros, while the top-of-the-line one with the most powerful diesel engine and automatic gearbox comes up to 38,500.